Hello and welcome to our family engagement video presentation. My name is Leslie A. And I will be presenting alongside Rachel M, Meaghan M, and Cesar L. We made up group 7. So as educators, we know that literacy development does not begin and end in the classroom, right? It goes beyond that. So we also know that the strongest influences on a child's academic success is the partnership, the connection, the relationship that exists between home and school. So in this course, throughout this course, we've been learning that when families are given the tools and confidence to support learning in their own home, students are a lot more likely to develop things such as strong literacy skills and positive attitudes towards reading and learning in general. So for this presentation, we're going to introduce our family engagement project, which is our family literacy night program. I'm also going to explain the purpose behind our program, why we think that it's needed, and I'm going to give an overview of the 4 engagement nights that make up our project. So like I said, our project is centered around family literacy nights, which is a series of 4 2-hour interactive workshops that are designed to strengthen the partnership, the connection between home and school by helping families build meaningful reading routines. So the whole idea is that instead of expecting parents to become teachers at home and have to do all these extra things at home, the goal is to provide them with practical literacy strategies that can easily be incorporated into their everyday routines and their day-to-day lives. Things like reading together before bedtime, talking about stories that your student read during the day over dinner, talking about new vocabulary. Those are all examples of like simple practices that can have a really significant impact on children's literacy development, and which we can teach through our family literacy nights. Each workshop is intentionally designed to be hands-on, so families aren't just learning the new strategies, they also have the opportunity to practice those strategies with guidance from the educators that are working the events before actually taking them home and implementing them and doing them with their student. So, what was our purpose? The purpose of our Family Literacy Night program is to strengthen the partnership between home and school while also increasing parents' confidence in supporting literacy at home, right? Like, we think that this is really important. As we were working on this project, we considered specifically 3 main primary needs of families that we think are significant. This was more resources and ideas for helping their children with reading at home, stronger communication with a family's a child's teacher, and more opportunities to become involved in school activities and to create a stronger connection with the school. These 3 primary needs guided us as we were working on our project. So, let's get ready to spark a reading revolution in your home. Family Literacy Night is here to bring families and books together like never before, turning everyday moments into powerful literacy adventures that will light up your child's future. So the very last thing in our introduction is an overview of our family engagement literacy nights. So like I mentioned earlier, our family literacy night program consists of 4 engagement events. The first is Reading and Growing Together, which introduces foundational shared reading strategies. The second, which is a book exchange, Gather New Stories, which highlights which encourages continued reading while reinforcing comprehension. The third is Cultural Heritage, Celebrating Our Stories, which highlights culturally responsive literacy through family storytelling. And then our last one is Family Day, Community Service and Book Kit Pass Out, which is where we celebrate student growth throughout the year, connect families with community resources, and provide literacy kits for continued learning at home. So together, these 4 events create a comprehensive family engagement experience that we feel and created to promote literacy development while strengthening relationships between families, educators, and the community at large. So at this point, I'm going to hand it over to our next presenter, who is going to discuss our first family literacy night, engagement night 1, Reading and Growing Together.
All right, this is going to be our first literacy night. which is reading and growing together, initiation into reading strategies for our parents to try and implement at the home. Now, keep in mind, we are doing this for the parents. We want our strategies to be practical, uh, easy to do, easy to implement, and flexible as well. We know that that stuff happens. Uh, Family emergencies, changes in schedules, changes in jobs for parents. We know that it's not easy for them, so we want to give them something that they can do at home, quick, easy, and something that'll stick with the children and them. So our first literacy night, we're gonna have right around 15-20 minutes after students are dismissed right away. We want to do that just in case we have any parents who are working graveyard shift or something like that where they need to leave early. We'll have a welcome and connection with the community for about 15 minutes where parents arrive, they mingle, they talk with other parents, they talk with teachers, they talk with admin, whoever might be there, anybody to answer their questions. We want this to be a welcoming environment. We want parents to come back. We want them to talk to other parents and tell them to come to these events. We want to make it welcoming. We don't want to shy away from connecting with these people because they are our line to our children. If we have strong family connections, then everything runs smoother. Children are more likely to participate, more likely to succeed in the classroom. So after our welcome connections, we're also going to have about a 15-minute presentation. Just similar to this, we're going to go over the importance of this. We're going to tell them students who read with their parents are much more likely to be academically successful. If you uh, implement these strategies at home, your student will improve. Baseline, we want to teach the parents why. We want to tell them why we are doing this, right? It's one of the strongest predictors of their child's success. They're doing this for their children. We're not doing it because we're mean and because we want to give them homework to do it. No, we're doing this because it's best for their children and we want them to succeed. So after our introduction, we're going to have them split into three groups. It doesn't matter where they start, and it doesn't matter how big each group is. We're just about even groups, right? We'll make sure that if we have any interpreters or translators, that we'll get them ahead of time, and we'll include them at each station or wherever they're needed if there aren't enough. Our first station, and then after 20 minutes, we'll sound a bell or we'll tell them to switch. So they'll have 20 minutes at each station. It'll take about an hour of their time. So at the first station is going to be a think aloud strategy. And we're going to stress to the parents that, hey, when you are reading with your child, we're going to want you to pause and voice your thoughts out loud. Voice confusions, observations, something I wonder whys are great prompts. Oh, this reminds me of is also a great thing. I'm confused of. Make the child think about what they're reading, right? A great reading strategy. Second station is going to be the peer method, comprehension strategies, where we want to turn reading into a conversation, right? We're going to tell the parents to prompt their children about an observation in the book, like what is this or why is this happening? Something to get the child thinking about what's going on in the book. They're going to listen to what their uh, child says, and then they're going to expand on the information that their child says. Like, let's say we're with a student and we're saying, "Oh, what is this structure right here?" And the student goes, "Oh, that's a police house." You say, maybe, but look at this fire pole. It's actually a firehouse." And then you'll explain what a firehouse is. You're going to repeat the prompt. You're gonna make sure that the child knows what things are. But the only way you're gonna do this is if you ask your children questions. So we're gonna stress to them that when they're reading with their students, we want them to ask questions. We want them to to point out, look at patterns and observations about their child's thinking, so that way they can implement this at home. And it's not just books for this. They can do this anywhere. They can do this at a anywhere that has text, a library, supermarket, if you want to, maybe some pamphlets at a sporting event, something like that. But we want them to be on top of their children's thinking. And the third station is a vocabulary strategy station. So word detective, very simple. We're going to have students look at what the well, they'll have the parents skim the text for words they think are unfamiliar to their student or their child. They will point out the word, give a child friendly definition of the word to their um, to their child and then connect it. So they're going to pick a vocabulary word, give a definition, and then connect it to something in their life. That way, the definition sticks with the student remembers what the word means, and they're able to increase their vocabulary. After the rotations, we're going to have a wrap up where we're going to have 30 minutes, and in this 30 minutes, we'll have time for families to create their own literacy goals. Remember, we want to keep this simple. We want them to do what's best for their child. We want them to have the flexibility to create their own schedule that they can stick to, that they think they'll have the most success with. We don't want to force our parents. Obviously, we'll give them the information to implement strategies, but we don't want to force them to do anything that they're not comfortable with. And then the wrap up, we're going to have a distribution of the take home toolkits and resources. Very simple. Any questions will be answered. Any thoughts, comments, concerns brought up by the parents will be addressed and such. So for the toolkit, when we take home the take home toolkit will be ready beforehand. It's going to be an age appropriate book for the student, whatever grade level they're at, or reading level if it doesn't match their grade level. If they're behind and they read at a first grade level in second grade, we'll give them a first grade level book, something like that, something to that's appropriate for them. Then we're going to have a word detective kit, a magnifying glass, and a notepad for vocabulary building. The students will just look at the words with the magnifying glass or write words they're unfamiliar with and ask their parents or look online at the definitions. Something very fun. A bookmark strategy guide, laminated guide with the peer prompts. So we're going to have a bunch of prompts and questions that parents can ask their kids while they're reading. That way, if they lose any of the handout materials, they are able to continue with the strategy. And then last but very for sure not least, the family literacy goal sheet, a refrigerator magnet template where families will write their weekly goals. Remember, and they create their own goals themselves. This isn't something given to them, it's something that they must do themselves so that they can feel comfortable achieving their goals. We don't want to impose unrealistic goals on parents, and we might not know what that means. So we want to give them the freedom to create their own goals. So that will be the strong foundation of our literacy nights. We want to give parents a good start, and it'll be literacy night 2 next.
Hi, Leslie again. So now that families have been introduced to shared reading strategies during our first family literacy night, our second night, which is book exchange, gather new stories, it's going to focus on helping families discover new books while encouraging a love of reading at home. One of the biggest factors that we feel influences whether children become lifelong readers is having access to books that interest them. So, because of this, we wanted this literacy night to emphasize both book choice and family engagement while continuing to build the literacy skills that were introduced during the first workshop. So the evening is going to begin with a welcome and connection activity. So families are going to arrive. They'll enjoy light refreshments, reconnect with one another after the first literacy night, because this will be our first literacy night after having had one. During this time, parents and students are going to have the opportunity to share a favorite book that they've read together since the previous workshop. And this activity is going to help build a sense of community while encouraging families to reflect on how they have incorporated reading into their routines at home. So next we move on to the opening presentation where teachers discuss the importance of book choice and creating a positive reading environment at home. The families will learn simple strategies for selecting books that are engaging but also appropriate for their child's reading level. We'll also talk about how building a home library, even if it's a lot of books, if it's a little book, if it's a small amount of books, any home library can encourage children to read more frequently and develop positive attitudes towards literacy. So we'll talk about keeping more books at home. But pretty much the majority of the evening is going to be spent participating in the 3 interactive literacy stations. So each station is going to last about 20 minutes and gives families the chance to learn alongside their children while teachers model effective literacy practice. So the first station is book tasting, which allows families to explore books that represent different genres, cultures, and reading levels. The second station is called book talks, which is where we teach families how to ask open-ended questions and have meaningful conversations throughout different parts of the reading process. The last station is in the book exchange, which is where families browse donated books and then select one or two to take home, while teachers provide recommendations based on the student's interest and reading ability. So, like what they've seen inside the classroom and using that to guide parents in picking books for their kids at home. To support these activities, we identified several materials that are going to help the evening run smoothly. So, families are going to sign in upon arrival and they'll get name tags to help create a welcoming environment and so that we can use each other's names. Books are going to be organized on display tables by genre and by reading level as well, so that families can easily explore a variety of options. And then we're also going to provide printed agendas in the station passports, book recommendation cards, chart paper, markers, and the family literacy goal sheets to encourage participation and discussion throughout the evening. Before leaving, families are going to work together to create a weekly reading goal. So at the end of the event, each family is going to receive their take-home literacy toolkit that includes the books that they selected during the exchange, a family reading log, a guide for choosing developmentally appropriate books, and a bookmark with discussion prompts and a family literacy goal sheet. The highlight here is the guide for choosing developmentally appropriate books. Since we talked about building at-home libraries, we feel like this is a good resource to have. All of these resources are designed to extend learning beyond the event and help families continue practicing the strategies that were introduced during the workshop. So overall, I would say that book exchange, gather new stories, is really meant to help families build on the foundation that was established in our first literacy night by helping them develop positive reading habits, increasing access to books, and also strengthening literacy through meaningful shared reading experiences. We think that reading and the books that we read and the experiences that we read about can really help people connect. And basically, this book exchange night is the time and place to talk about those experiences, talk about those stories, our favorite stories, and how that can bring us closer, specifically teachers and students, but also students and families. So we think that by providing the practical strategies, the engaging activities, and all the take-home resources, we're empowering the families to make reading kind of like an enjoyable and consistent part of their everyday life, something that they look forward to, and something that's overall easier for them to implement.
Literacy Night 3, Cultural Heritage Night. This event celebrates oral traditions alongside written history, recognizing storytelling as an important form of literacy in many cultures. Participation in this event will be flexible and inclusive for all family structures, including parents, grandparents, guardians, foster families, and other caregivers. Families can come and participate by setting up a table, or they can come and just enjoy the night and observe. Families can choose how to represent their heritage, ensuring that cultural identities are shared authentically rather than through stereotypes. Displays and activities will honor diverse cultural backgrounds, languages, traditions, and lived experiences, creating an environment where every family is recognized and valued as a community, as a contributor in the school's literacy community. Our agenda will go as follows. We will begin our program with a welcome and a connection. The principal will give the welcome. We will have a student share a cultural poem or perhaps a song, and have the principal give a brief overview of how family stories, literacy, and culture work together. We will then have our families tour our family heritage showcase. We will have tables set up where families can do displays that honors their culture and their family traditions, and this will run for 40 minutes. Families can have out anything from like food to art to music, or pieces that represent their language and their culture, clothing, anything that would be interesting to learn about culturally. We will then break into literacy through family stories. This will be 30 minutes. 10 minutes at each station will have an oral history center where families can learn to pass on oral history. Family history writing center where families can learn to write their own family history. and a world languages station where families can explore different languages throughout the world. We will then have a multicultural read aloud for 20 minutes where we will have students share short stories, poems, or songs about their cultural and family history. We will then do a family literacy activity, and this will work kind of like an exit ticket where families will get together and they will share stories together and write one family tradition that they really enjoy and they hope will continue. Or perhaps they can come up with a tradition that they would like to start together. Let's see. Our closing, we will distribute family history kits. This will be a take-home toolkit where families can, what will be in this toolkit is we'll have a family story map that will teach children how to put together a family story. We'll have a family heritage notebook where families can put together stories or memorabilia from their family, perhaps pictures or other things. New family story guided questions where families can interview each other and find out more about each other and then add to their stories. We'll have a family tree activity so students can trace how they are related to their people. And hopefully that will make family history a little more interesting to them. We will have also recommended culturally responsive book list with public library information so families can explore other cultures that they might want to learn about. We'll compile a historical or heritage recipe collection from our families who would like to contribute so that families at home can cook together and share recipes together. We'll have a community resource guide featuring local cultural organizations, museums, library, and language programs. All resources will be printed in the home language of each family, the language that they are most comfortable speaking and sharing stories in. This event will take care of the social emotional skills of our students. They'll develop empathy, self-awareness, teamwork as a family, and learn about their family and cultural traditions. The outcome will be that this will build a strong literacy base for our students. Our students will understand that stories have a beginning, middle, and end, even when it's oral history or a family story. Children will ultimately develop a strong sense of self-identity, which we want them to have, so they will feel more comfortable in their own skin and feel comfortable with who they are as a person. They will understand where they come from and where they are going. Literacy Night 4, Family Day Community Service and Book Kit Pass Out. As you can see on the slide in front of you, this evening is the grand finale of our Literacy Night series. It is designed to be highly interactive. This 2-hour event will blend two incredibly powerful elements, community service and giving families the physical tools they need to sustain a rich reading culture at home and create a summer reading program as well. Our dual goals for this event to celebrate the journey of our families have taken with us so far and to transition them into self-sufficient reading at home. We will create curated book kits. We will go through the agenda. This event will be 120 minutes. First, we have a welcome celebration that will be 15 minutes. As the families arrive, we want them to feel an immediate sense of warmth and accomplishment for all of their reading accomplishments this year. We have light refreshments ready, and this initial block is all about celebrating their dedication and participation through this entire Family Literacy Night series. Next, we'll dive into the community service project, which will be about 30 minutes. We want our families to experience how literacy can connect and support to the wider community. Over these 30 minutes, families will work together on a hands-on literacy-focused service activity. We have a few fantastic options here, including assembling book bundles for local little free libraries, crafting customized bookmarks for hospitals or libraries, or decorating canvas reading bags for children in need. Then we'll transition to the family reading picnic. For this segment, we'll move families to blankets and picnic mats. This is a quiet, intimate block where parents and children can read together. Crucially, our teachers will be walking around, gently modeling and simple discussion prompts and showing parents how to foster meaningful reading conversations in an easy, low-pressure way. Following the picnic, the book kit pass out will be about 25 minutes. This is a pivotal moment in the evening. Each family will receive their official take-home literacy kit. Rather than just handing them over, our educators will take the stage to unbox a kit live, explaining the purpose of how each item works and how sharing practical ideas for parents so they have resources to use at home. Finally, we'll close the event with the Resource Community Fair. It will take about 30 minutes. To wrap up the night, families can explore tables set up by local literacy organizations, sign up for free library programs, and we'll round out the experience with student certificate distributions. We can have a big group photo to commemorate the growth and final celebration of our students' hard work. To make this event successful, we will have standard sign-in sheets and name tags, community service supplies, reading blankets and picnic mats for the families, reading literacy kits, student certifications, community resource tables, and family reading passports and a camera for celebration photos. This event will benefit our school community by bringing our community together and celebrate reading and kick off a great summer reading program. This will further extend social emotional growth in our students as they learn with parents and with their families and share stories throughout the summer.
All right. Now, with these literacy nights, we do need to be cognizant of other cultures and linguistic dialects within our communities, um, especially in Las Vegas, an urban population ever growing, Hispanic community, the Eastern European community, African communities, a bunch of different diverse groups of people are coming to Las Vegas, and they each have their own specific needs. Developing parent and family engagement activities requires shifting away from a one size fits all model to account for these differences. We need to take the first steps and meet our parents halfway. It's not fair for them to come in here and expect to do everything on their own. Not only is it time consuming, but it also puts them off from engaging with their kids. If it's going to take a bunch of extra effort, they're less likely to follow through with the reading strategies that we provided for them. So, considering all these things, here's what we have for the outside community partners. We have the Las Vegas County Library District. It has free programs, book clubs, and some reading challenges for the parents. Spread the Word Nevada is a program that distributes free books to Title I schools, and it also includes a Books and Buddies mentor reading program. Depending on the school, that's the only issue is it has to be working with the Books and Buddies program. Your school has to be working with it prior, and the other digital community that we have is LOTE for kids, which stands for Languages Other Than English for Kids. I will be calling it LOTE for kids for short. And it's a digital library that specializes in children's multilingual literacy. For the Las Vegas County Library District, keep in mind for all of these community partners, we will be giving parents every single literacy night. We're going to be giving the information about these community partners, not only so that they have it, but also they can distribute to other parents who may not have made it, who might need these resources outside of the home, and for family members who might want to participate with their children. So we'll give them information about the library district. Now, the Clark County Library District promotes with various groups, one of them is Las Vegas Raiders, that promote youth reading. It provides free programs, book clubs, and summer reading challenges for everyone. Now, the best part about this is that it is free. All right. You only need to register and acquire a library card. We will be telling parents all of this. We'll be giving them the necessary information. So we'll tell them how to get a card. We'll tell them where the nearest library district is, and we're pretty much going to give them the first step so that they can go and autonomously sign up for a library card. Now, not only does the library district have books, obviously, but they also have digital tools, computers, printing, anything that parents might need help with. And again, we're going to stress that this is free. This is a great resource, a great community partner for our parents to get involved with, right? Not only for their children, but for themselves. The library district provides programs for K through college, tools for school sections that if you need help with classes or anything like that, if parents are working towards a GED, they can go to this library. It is an excellent resource. We want to encourage parents to frequently visit the library as much as possible. The next community partner is Spread the Word Nevada. It's a program dedicated to closing the literacy gap for Title I schools in Southern Nevada through free book access and mentorship. Now, in Spread the Word Nevada, they have a calendar online. You need to look at it. It is very easy to access. You can request a mentor if you are in a zone for the Books and Buddies program. The specific schools change. It has to stay Title I. That's the only thing. If your child's not in a Title I school, the Books and Buddies program most likely will not be available. But you can request a mentor, and the children read with the mentors for an allotted amount of time once a week. The schedule changes, but they can grow. They can create connections with trusted adults through the Books and Buddies program. The Spread the Word Nevada program also has digital resources, educational games, and learning kits on their website. Again, one of the best parts about this is that it is free, and parents can choose to translate the page if they have, I believe, Google Chrome extensions, which, again, we need to provide all this information. This will all be given to the parents. We're going to have pamphlets. We're going to be giving out all the information so that they can access this as easy as possible. If they need translators, we're going to tell them in their native language. If they need physical copies in another language, we'll have that available for them for these programs. And then the last community partner is Lope for Kids. And I have the website up there. It's easy to access. The only thing is you do need a website and internet connection, which is why we're going to give them the library resource primarily, because that will help them immensely with pretty much everything that they're going to need to do. And so Lope for Kids is a digital library platform for children's multilingual literacy. It adds the authentic titles and activities that go along with these titles and books monthly, and it supports as many languages as possible. If a student happens to not have their language represented, there's a pathway to include books read in the native language. You have to go through a process, but it is available. Most languages will be covered, so that's a rare case scenario. The books are read out loud in the student's native language, the native dialect. There's no accent issues or anything like that. What they do need to have is library access. So again, we are going to give parents the Las Vegas Clark County School District information that they can create all of this there, especially because it's free. No, but they do need a library card to access this digital community. Over 9,000 digital audiobooks, including sign language. Children, if they're curious, they can look online. They can go through different language books and they can expand their perspectives. There is also publisher verified literature. It's not random books. These are appropriate level books that children are read in their native language. And again, this whole thing is meant to get kids into reading. This is not meant to force kids to do activities and do homework outside, but we want children to be able to access books in their native language. We want them to be excited to read. We want them to get into reading, and Low for Kids is a great way to do that. They have culturally responsive texts that students may relate to more. And so that's what we're really looking for here. And we're going to make sure that all these community partners are visible, available, and all the information is there for parents. Because at the end of the day, we are there for the students and we want them to succeed. And that is our family engagement project. We're going to have 4 literacy nights split into 4, and throughout these, the parents are going to be given strategies and books, all that they need to help their students succeed at home. Thank you.